What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for AEW on TNT review for February 12, 2020. We had two title matches on this show, an eye for an eye match, which I don't even know why they would even call it that. I get why they wanted to do that. Both guys had one eye missing, apparently, from being injured. And we had a massive debut that I have to get out of the way right now. In 3, 2, 1, Jeff motherfucking Cobb. That is all. We'll get to when he debuted, who he debuted for, and what is the future for Jeff Cobb. I was shocked just as many as else. Wasn't the only shocking moment of the show, but it was a shock nonetheless. One of the two moments that I think were shocking moments of this show, I think this one was more shocking than the one that they went with earlier in the show. Now, the show starts off with Kenny Omega and Hangman Page putting the AEW Tag Team titles on the line against SCU. I did not expect SCU to win this match. No way in hell are they going to be winning the Tag Team titles back from Hangman Page and Kenny Omega already. I could see SCU maybe a couple, maybe around All Out or Double or Nothing being in the Tag Team title competition for the titles. Wasn't going to happen on this night. Dark Order appears on the big screen and says they await the Exalted One, but let the teams know that Dark Order is closer than they may think, and we'll see them soon. Christopher Daniels was ringside for his team, but tells them he's going to go to the back to check it out. Okay, I'm just going to stop right there. AEW is clearly going down this path that it's going to be, the Exalted One is going to be one or two people. It is either going to be Christopher Daniels or literally anybody else. That is where they're going with this right now. Do I see Christopher Daniels being the Exalted One? Yes, I can see him being the Exalted One, but it's just way too finicky for me to say that this is going to be actually Christopher Daniels. Again, a couple years ago, about 6 or 7, 8 years ago, and Impact Wrestling did a faction known as Aces and Eights. And everyone wanted to know who was leader, who was the guy calling the shots for the Aces and Eights. Well, Bobby Roode came out at one time and said that it was James Storm. James Storm, of course, vehemently denied this. Of course, AEW hasn't gone down this way of having, SCU accuse the partner, Christopher Daniels, or anyone accuse him. Well, anyway, for weeks, the Aces and Eights would go out there and attack super talent not named James Storm. If James Storm came running down, they would back off and run away. Then eventually it looked like they were about ready to reveal, yes, it is James Storm. But then, boom, out of nowhere, James Storm was attacked. It was not him. It later was turned out to be Bully Ray, who was playing the innocent lover of Brooke Hogan. That's for a different time, maybe one of these days. But I just feel like this is the way we're going with the Dark Order. That we're going to have Christopher Daniels for weeks be teased. You're not just going to continue to go out there and tease that it's going to be Christopher Daniels and it actually be Christopher Daniels. This is too obviously not going to be Christopher Daniels. These guys are having a match. Good match here. These two teams work well together. SCU, Hangman Page, and Kenny Omega. Still waiting for that Hangman Page attack on Kenny Omega to end him. Match didn't last as long as I thought it would go. Page drops Sky. Page goes to the top, but Kazarian shoves him off the barricade onto the barricade. Sky recovers, plants Omega, and tags Kazarian back in. Sky beats Omega up on the floor a bit, tosses him in the ring. Kazarian hits with a body slams. Leap over 2. SCU is in full control, but they don't hold it for very long. Omega with a blind tag, B trigger to Kazarian after a while. Snap, suplex on Sky. Page goes up to a buckshot lariat, but no. Hits a power bomb. Omega with a knee strike to the back of the head. Suicide dive on Sky on the floor. V trigger buckshot lariat combo. 1, 2, 3, and Hangman Page and Kenny Omega are your winners. All hell will break loose for the Tag Team Battle Royal next week. Of course, next week's Tag Team Battle Royal, which is pretty much every tag team in AEW, except for, I believe, SCU and the Lucha Bros, because for some reason next week, the Lucha Bros are getting a tag team title shot. But every other tag team, from the Dark Order to the Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus to Best Friends, everyone is going to be in this. Maybe, just maybe, we might see. I'm not saying anything, I'm not spoiling anything because I don't actually know. Maybe, just maybe, we'll see a tag team from the Indies that we've never seen before. They've done this with Battle Royals, with both Battle Royals they had for the men and the women at Double or Nothing and All Out, where you would have people that we did not know come in for, like Mercedes Martinez, who just signed with that NXT recently, was in the women, was the number 25 in the women's Battle Royal at or number 15 or whatever it was at Double or Nothing. It was 25, something like 21, yeah, 21. She was the lucky 21. So maybe, just maybe, with this Battle Royal, we're going to see teams that we haven't seen before. We'll have to wait and see. It does say the Dark Order, Best Friends running, like, back and break the Dark Order. Even Uno, Alex Reynolds, Johnson, and Grayson. Best Friends run out to the ring to even the odds. Now comes the Butcher and the Blade, TH2, the Young Bucks. Everyone starts brawling as the preview next week's Tag Team Battle Royal. The winner will face Omega and Page for the titles at Revolution. Teams get set to the ringside with Bucks standing tall and end the segment. I'm going with the Young Bucks because I believe that the only reason you had Kenny Omega and them win is to have this interfeud with the Elite that causes friction, and eventually Hangman Page turns on Kenny Omega, not joining the Dark Order, but costing them the titles, getting the titles to the Young Bucks, and becoming the heel that he looks like he's going to be. Now, before the show, Jim Ross spoke with Santana. He asked Santana what it meant when he said he showed Jon Moxley what it's like to live in darkness. Santana said, about 10 years ago, he was living in a terrible apartment, broke, no job, no direction, was in his lowest point. Santana said he called his dad and explained to him the same thing and talked about his father who passed last month, and mentioned that his dad couldn't see, started to lose his sight at 14 and was basically blind by 25. Santana says that's what he has to live with, and he wants to show Moxley the same kind of darkness. So, good interview here. I love these things that JR does, these interviews. They did it with Cody at one time. They've done it with Sean Spears at one time. I like these little interviews, and this is definitely a strength that they have for JR because he fits in this role perfectly. Like, commentary isn't his strength anymore, but these interviews they have here are something that JR has always been good at and always will be good at. So it's a good showing by these guys. And Santana came off sincere, and just, it didn't feel scripted, it didn't feel phony, it felt like this guy was speaking from the heart. So the next thing we have is there's another video for Darby Allin. He holds up a piece of cardboard in front of the video camera saying it was a mistake to slash his throat with his own skateboard, and he will find the inner circle. In the meantime, he challenges Sammy Guevara to a match at Revolution. Afterwards, Jim Ross says Allin has no official return date due to his throat. So Guevara versus Allin. Everybody was predicting this after the attack 2 weeks ago. I would love to see it. I think it'd be hell of a match at Revolution. Cannot wait to see what they do. Speaking of Sammy Guevara, he's in the next match, as it is Sammy Guevara with Jake Hager versus Dustin Rhodes. This, of course, is a rematch from January 1st, where Dustin Rhodes was attacked by Jake Hager while the referee was paying attention to Sammy Guevara, who was tied up in the turnbuckle, and Sammy Guevara ended up winning that match. Would he beat Dustin Rhodes twice in 2 months? No. Now, not that bad of a match here, but I will say that it's meaningless because after the match, because Dustin Rhodes won with the final reckoning, 1, 2, 3. After the match, though, he tells Hager, or Jericho's bitch, to turn around as he heads up the ramp. Rhodes asks Hager if he's ever going to get into the ring or just pick up a paycheck. Rhodes says he wants a match at Revolution. Hager heads to the ring, then turns right back around and heads to the back. Now, this has been made official. It is going to be Dustin Rhodes versus Jake Hager. A lot of people predicted that Jake Hager's first match would be at Revolution. We just didn't know if it was going to be Dustin or Luchasaurus, because honestly, Dustin Rhodes has been feuding with Jake Hager. Luchasaurus has also looked to be feuding with Jake Hager. So getting Dustin makes sense because of the arm break earlier, like late last year. Should be an interesting match. Dustin is a good guy to work up against for Jake Hager, and we'll see where it goes from there. So we see Yuka Sakazaki, what happened with her and her broken tooth last week. Shivani on stage, and out comes Baker, who gives him a hug, asks how she can justify what she did last week. She calls it a stupid question, says as a dentist she was doing her duty for the public because that tooth was in decay and it was coming out anyways. She continues that she did Yuka a favor and did it for free. She then rips on Tony a bit, mentioning the barista thing again. Tony asks Baker about Riho versus Nyla Rose, and she says it will be an awesome match, but both competitors are still number 2 compared to her. Tells the fan to shut their chubby Whataburger faces and she gets some booze there from the crowd as she continues talking before heading to the back. Okay, I'm okay with this Britt Baker stuff. It's just just because she's a heel now doesn't mean her promos are going to be better. Doesn't mean her matches are going to be better. She still has a way to go. Riho versus Nyla Rose, AEW Women's World Championship match. Why was this not left till Revolution? That is my question. Did this have to happen this week? No, it did not. Could they have waited till Revolution? Absolutely. Anyway, they finally did it. I didn't think they would do this. I'm surprised that they did. But we have a new AEW Women's Champion. We have AEW doing what I didn't think they would do. Riho on top does the double foot stop. She goes for a third one and hits it, cover, but Rose gets her foot on the bottom rope. Riho runs and eats a spear, sit out powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. Riho's title reign is over. We have a new champion. Yes, AEW had. It is crazy that AEW went down this route. I understand why they went with it. It's going to be something that they're going to get criticized for because of who Nyla Rose is. She's always going to have a detractors, whether she is fully, partially, or whatever. She is the women's champion. She is gender specific, a woman. Get used to it. Don't sit there and make some bigoted question. Don't cry because you're a bigot and you don't like the fact that a transgender woman is a women's champion. If Tessa Blanchard could be the World Heavyweight Champion in Impact Wrestling, a transgender woman, could be the NXT AEW Women's Champion. Give me a break. Backstage, Lexi talks with Chris Jericho. Jericho says Moxley proved that he is trash after stealing his Ford GT car and then jabbing Santana in the eye with the key. Jericho says if Moxley can survive Santana, next week Moxley will face Jeff Cobb. So I am happy about this. Jeff Cobb making his debut. Clips are shown from last week's when MJF last Cody. Brandy, who joins commentary, talks about Cody having to face Wardlow on next week's show. And it's still Cajun says she stays on as we go to our next match. Now, this is different than the Brandy we had last time she was on commentary. The last time she was on commentary was absolutely atrocious and was borderline disrespectful to Chris Statlander and everyone else in the women's division. This was a different Brandy Rose. This is the Brandy Rose she should always be. Who doesn't love MJF? This guy is just fantastic. Who doesn't love Jungle Boy? This guy is also fantastic. These two, they go out there and they give you a decent match. Did I mention that, like, this MJF is one of those guys that if you're a casual fan, he has the feeling of a Roddy Piper-esque guy. You don't care about the wrestling. The guy goes out there, you listen to this guy, and you just want the guy who's going up against aka Cody at Revolution to go in there and beat the living shit out of this guy. So these guys have a good match here. Jungle Boy plants MJF, goes for a 2, cover gets a 2. He looks to deadlift MJF, but he's been selling back issues. MJF with a kick to the face, throws him down to the mat, puts Jungle Boy on his back, and bends him over his back. Jungle Boy escapes for a roll up 2. MJF eats a kick. Jungle Boy up top, but MJF hits the rope, crushes his opponent, then taunts Brandy at commentary. Jungle Boy with a running powerbomb for a 2 count. Warlord then shows up at the ringside. He slips MJF a ring in the middle on his finger as the referee was talking to Jungle Boy. Power of the punch, ditches the ring. 1, 2, hits the double cross. My bad. 1, 2, 3. Warlord beats up Jungle Boy with some twisting. F5, Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt run out to the ring. MJF and Warlord head up to the ramp. So next week is going to be the big week for AEW, the cage match. How is Wardlow going to do in such a high-pressure main event match? His first match in AEW. Now, if they didn't think Wardlow could do this, if they didn't have faith that Wardlow was going to be able to hang with Cody, they would not be doing this cage match. So I'm sure Wardlow will be just fine. It'll be interesting what happens with AEW next week. Next week is going to be a big show. And I think the biggest show, even though I know Pac and Hangman is the week after, but it's going to be the biggest show until we get to Revolution. Pac cuts another promo on Kenny Omega and says all Omega's problems are because of him. You see clips of Pac working out. The two will meet in 2 weeks in a 30-minute Iron Man match. Pac says we will see how good Omega is. Next week will be Hangman Page and Kenny Omega defending the World Tag Team titles against the Lucha Bros. And then we get a main event, Jon Moxley and Santana with Ortiz, who did not have an eye injury. He did not get taken out of the picture. Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, and Sammy Guevara sit in a private box to watch the match. Both have eye patches on the respected injured eyes, even though I know at the New Beginning in Osaka, Jon Moxley had his eye patch and tape and everything ripped off. They fight. They have a big, huge brawl. This was nothing more than just a big, huge fight. Moxley hits the Death Rider, 1, 2, 3. He beats him. After the match, the Inner Circle all get to the ring and beat up Moxley. Jericho whips him with the title and then hits him with the Judas effects, knocks Moxley out, and calls to the back, and out comes Jeff Cobb. Commentary calls Jericho's bounty hunter and mercenary. Gives us the tour of the islands to Moxley, which is his swinging his swinging slam, slam in the middle of the ring, stands over Moxley as the show closes. Now, this is interesting. Jeff Cobb is not signed to AEW. This is a temporary thing. He is still signed to work the Supercard of Honor for Ring of Honor in April. Jeff Cobb coming to AEW would be awesome for Jeff Cobb, be awesome for AEW as a whole, but he is still a free agent, which is fine. He can work wherever he wants. If he wants to go work NWA, if he wants to work New Japan and Ring of Honor and AEW, he can. This does not mean that AEW and Ring of Honor have a working relationship. So people probably out there thinking that they do, or that AEW pilfered him from Ring of Honor. That is not the case. This dude is working per appearance and is going to be there for next week at least. So it's going to be great to see Jeff Cobb in AEW for this week and next. Will that be it? Who knows? Jeff Cobb is, again, a free agent. He's not signed to AEW, but it's a great thing to see this guy. This guy is so freaking good. This is not the first time that Jon Moxley and Jeff Cobb are going to be facing each other. They face each other in the G1 twice, as in they face each other in the G1 Climax and in a tag team match preview, I believe, the night before. So I can't wait to see what happens next week. That should be one hell of a match. They had a heck of a match in the G1, so this is going to be no different in my opinion. However, that is your AEW view for today. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, find me on Twitter at The France Club, find me on twitch.tv at The France Club, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for NXT. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.